Hi, I'm Catherine Hill at Forsters, and we wanted to introduce you to one of the living artists that we represent. So we've come to a studio in the East End of London to meet Jock McFadyen. He's a Royal Academician and he's known for his rather gritty urban landscapes. So let's go inside and meet him now.
Hi, Catherine.
Morning, Jock, the big reveal. Can we come inside to have a look around?
Yeah, sure. Have a look. I'll just shut the shutter. So this is the studio. Here we are.
And the pieces that you're working on at the moment. Do you want to show us these?
Yeah, okay. This landscape, I think you were asking, do I go back to older pictures?
I did, because these two, you can see it's the same scene, but I was interested here because you've obviously been working it in some way, but I know it's not a painting that's brand new, is it? So
No, it's a field. There was a cow there, actually. And of course, I changed, this is home base, but it used to be called B&Q and they changed their signage, so I had to change that in the painting. And also this is the same view.
And we talked too, didn't we, last week only, about how artists work, because I have a couple of artists who are on plein air, and you were saying actually that to the layman, we always think that there are many artists with easels and their paintbrushes out in the countryside painting, but actually that isn't really how it works. And so from an expedition like that to the Olympic Park, is everything from imagination, or did you take any photographs? How did you work up a painting from that?
It's not really imagination anyway, because the paint throws up its own chances and you follow the paint, like Boris Johnson following, the science. So you follow the paint. The paint is moved at the speed of thought. So there's lots of visual research, in other words, photography, roughing things out, telling lies, saying I'm going to move this building across to here, or chop that bit off, or I don't like that mountain. And all landscape painters do this. It's common or garden. And any picture bigger than this, and as you can see, this is a big painting here. I mean, you really get that on an easel, because it's 3.5 meters long. The majority of paintings in the world are studio paintings, and the minority of paintings in the world are done from life. The oldest paintings we know are cave paintings, but there were no bisons in those caves. Piero del Francesco was not at the flagellation of Christ.
No.
They're constructs. Art is short for artifice. So visual research is important, as is imagination, but you follow the paint.
And you've always said, haven't you, that your paintings are all about the paint.
Yeah.
And so when we look at the actual methodology so the way in which you're manipulating the paint in these different canvases, I can see that there's very different techniques going on. If we just look at this one,
okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you started and how we get to this stage in it, in terms of the layering effect of paint and which bits you're working up, starting with
I don't want to give away my trade secrets.
Go on, Jock, you can tell us. It's not Heinz baked beans.
Well, I can say some things.
Give us some clues.
All my pictures start off with a ground colour. So you get the canvas, and you paint it all one colour. So you're always painting on paint. I like to paint in a method that's called wet on wet. So you pour paint on, and you paint on while the paint is still wet. Even detail you can do that with. So paintings are in a constant state of adjustment. But when you're doing the skies, as I am anyway, I don't know about other artists, it's a game of chance, because the skies are liquid and the real sky is liquid. The real sky out there, out these windows, because clouds are water floating about. And if you've got paint floating about on here, you can replicate a sky. It's quite interesting to me to look at the artist Canaletto, who paints the clouds like a mechanic.
He does, yes.
And he paints the waves like this. Similarly. And he has a method for his people as well, little spots of flesh tones. And he's a great, great painter, don't get me wrong. This is not a criticism. But he has a recipe for these different areas. And I'm always frustrated and quite critical of other artists' skies. Some of them, I look at the skies and paintings, I think, wow, I'm completely impressed. But a lot of pretty good paintings have quite clunky skies, in my view, my humble view. So I'm always trying to get light to come from the painting that's underneath and the fact that the paint of the sky is liquid, which solidifies overnight. Because if the paint is thin, it is all oil paint, but it will be dry enough to work back into.
The following day.
The following day, in the summer better than the winter. And because it dries quicker in a warmer climate. And the thing I like doing is working into semi-wet paint. Is that too complicated?
No, I like that. You can see it because it's got movement.
Well, I think you've got to have the painting's got to keep its energy.
Yeah.
So you're always fighting against flatness.